Hello everyone, this is Kelly Beard of KarmicTools.com, and this is your weekly forecast for November 3rd through the 9th. And ooh-wee, how's everyone doing? This is going to be quite a week, so you may want to grab some tea and plan to make some space to process all that we discuss in this week's forecast. As always, the idea is not to overwhelm you with information, but to let you know the energies supported at this time so you can make better choices accordingly. We're officially in the underworld with Mercury retrograde in Scorpio, so everything feels deep. And any time and space to yourself, technology-free, preferably in nature, under the sky, is going to be time well spent. So let's dive in because we have some planetary shifts, activations, and 3 upcoming live events that I want to invite you to that fall on November 8th, 11th, and the 14th. If you can't join us live, you can still register to receive the replays. And there are links on my website as well. So first thing up is Juno entering Libra until September 20th, 2020, which is equinox, fall equinox 2020. Here's the thing. I think I've said this before. I keep adding the asteroids in here because they're very special and personal for me. I love them. I think they are some very important keys to understanding your personal blueprint and navigating the world. So historically I have not included them in the weekly forecast because I always try to keep the weekly forecast very basic and layman's terms and something that almost anyone can truly understand. So all I can say is that I'm deepening in my experiences and my practices, and so my writing is deepening, and so the weekly forecast is probably going to get a little deeper. And certainly at this time of year when everything is deeper. And the other thing is everything is useful and relevant because when we are in Scorpio time, it's a conception point. You've got to think of all the different things that are going into that conception point. It's just like somebody's birth chart, that moment in time. So you know my thing, just understanding when these energetics shift. And the thing about the asteroids is most of them spend about 2 months in a sign, and so when they retrograde, they end up lingering and spending 9, 10 months in a sign. So like this initiates 10 months in Libra, November 2019 through September 2020, when 2 months is normal, like I said. Juno represents how you relate and get your intimacy needs met, or not. It represents your style of relating, compatibility, sharing, and trust that happens in all relationships, and intimate ones in particular. So the work in this realm deepens and continues, since we've already been through Libra and are now traversing Scorpio. This is an opportunity to claim all new ways of relating that are more balanced and reciprocal. This is a time when people who have been going along to get along or getting along to go along usually break down because that tactic no longer works, but it also precedes the inevitable breakthrough as well. It is a time to clarify your true needs and desires for partnership and living, working, or playing with others in any capacity. For those of us with Cancer, Capricorn, Aries, Libra activated, we will likely be able to identify this renewal process personally, but probably not until she's done excavating our Libra house and resetting the balance so that future relationships, partnerships, and collaborations are based on mutual respect, clear communication, sovereignty, love, and a common goal. Take note that Juno will retrograde February 8th and go direct May 26th of 2020. So pay attention to what comes up for you November to February because you may have to review some territory during February to May, and then you will have June to September to set new patterns in place by fall equinox 2020 harvest. Wow. This is what made me add it to the forecast because it's a powerful energy to co-create with, and most of us have some aspect of our relationships up for renewal one way or another. Also, something else that I haven't done in years, I used to write little updates for the full moon, new moon in the first quarter and the last quarter, and I haven't done that in a while. But again, we're in this Scorpio conception point, and I already gave y'all my disclaimer last week in the blog that said I don't think there's such thing as too much information when it comes to Scorpio, because we're dealing with power, and we all need to learn absolutely anything and everything that we can learn about power, and in this case in energy, so that we can understand how to direct it on our own behalf and to really be making good, strong, clear choices from the inside out and not being overly influenced by outside in. So I just felt like this lunation is just such a good one to co-create with. You all know that I love this time of year because I feel the ancestors. I feel them all the time, but they're just, it's a party right now. They're expecting me to cook. Let's put it that way. So the Aquarius first quarter moon falls on Monday the 4th. I say here, I don't usually get into the quarters of the moon in the weekly forecast, but this is the first step toward our Scorpio new moon intentions. And it is preceding the Pisces moon of Samhain, which is technically November 7th, when we will honor the last of the 8 sacred seasons before initiating anew on winter solstice, which is December 21st. The Aquarius first quarter moon often illuminates where you are liberating an old you and stepping more fully into an authentic you, which includes but is not limited to your unique offering to the world. The square or 90-degree angle between the sun and the moon, that's what creates the first and last quarter moons, or both 90-degree angles, basically create the internal-external friction necessary for movement out of comfort zone into new territory. We grow, evolve, and are tested on the first and last quarter moons each and every month. They are useful to tune into when co-creating with the lunar energy and cycle. This Aquarius first quarter is supporting your first step toward anchoring your Scorpio new moon intentions. Now that you understand your power a little better, what has that awakened within you? What unique brilliance is yours to share with the world? We are at a potent time in history when even the smallest contribution matters. Expand your thinking beyond self. Really consider how your one individual life truly touches so many other lives. Assess your effect or influence on the world at this time. Where can it be tweaked for the better? We have tremendous support for shifting our earthly experience by simply redefining ourselves and our terms in any given moment. Change is good and even easier when supported like it is now. So take advantage of this time to change what you can and release the rest. Then on Tuesday the 5th, Mars is going to square off with Pluto. This is Libra to Capricorn, so still restructuring relationships no matter how you cut it. And you always want to start with self. Your relationship with self is absolutely the first one you need to master. Then it gets so much easier to work and play with others. So this is a test of what you're made of on the deepest core level, thanks to Pluto, and will require surrender as well as focus. This energy challenges you to evolve and will make you want to push through all obstacles. But you must be careful not to be so aggressive that you are stepping on anyone to get where you're going. This is a potent energy that can facilitate major transformation in your own life if you know who you are, what you want, and what you are willing to sacrifice to get there. That includes parts of yourself that may need to shift to be more effective. This energy can bring power struggles within or without, so be mindful because this energy is affecting everyone at this time. This is the time to tie up any loose ends if you are close to beginning anew. If you do not finish what you already have in the works, it may get in the way of things you want to do in the future. It is time to align your true inner power with balanced outer actions and choices. Okay? So Mars rules who you are and what you want, your purpose and passion and direction and your energy and how you channel your power in a lot of ways. And Pluto is definitely that power. And it's the power to transform. And in this way, it's asking us to be responsible for our individual part in any relationship. And I've learned through experience of being with the same man for 27 years that change only happens when you shift within first. You have to shift that energy, whatever it is that you're not wanting to experience that's coming up. And so this activation this week just allows us to be in tune with who you are and what you want, but also be in tune with that power to choose differently, to transform because you've changed, everyone around you has to change or go away. That's just kind of the natural law. So of course that can cause some upsets and different things. But it's all good. It's okay, because we are at the portal. So now we come up on the gate of power, which is actually technically the 7th, and we are going to get together Friday the 8th. Samhain, which is the Celtic celebration, or Scorpio gate of power, which is our shamanic celebration. It is something that is celebrated across cultures and has many, many, many names. But we are just going to honor the portal, because during this time of year, reflection on the past and rumination on the future commingle. I've created a flyer here that describes a few readings I've developed and used over the years to specifically address the Scorpio-Sagittarius cross quarter and the final sacred season of the solar year. This is when we face the raw truth of Scorpio, which leads to the evolved higher truth of Sagittarius, that we will go forward and build in Capricorn in the coming new year. This is a midpoint, a bridge between worlds, a pause between death and new life, the transition time between the old and the new, and it is the gate of power most aligned with your soul self, your higher self, and this enables your ancestors, angels, and benevolent guides to be more readily available to commune with you directly. You can ask for their guidance on the lesson and purpose of certain events and experiences of the past year, and you can ask for their guidance on how to proceed during the coming year. Then use this 6-week period to integrate their blessings and guidance. This is the celebration time. This is why we're getting together. Honor the transformation of being at the sweet spot between seed and new life. It is an annual rhythm that facilitates permanent endings and raw new beginnings that will take care and nurture to take root and bear fruit. After completion, clearing, and release, it is an especially good time to sit with the empty space for a period of time. This is an infinitely potent time, in between, a place also referred to as the sweet spot, that very thin membrane between seed and new life. Plant your seeds of the future during this dark time and be still. Listen. Invite life. This 6-week period prior to winter solstice has the longest nights, implying rest, work behind closed doors, and moving through any personal darkness. It is time to restore strength and prepare for the light's return, and take time to integrate the guidance and support offered unconditionally from the invisible realms. If you decide to get a reading, returning to it often, monthly, quarterly, semi-annually, etc., throughout the coming year, will not only remind you of the delicious support you invited in to guide you at this annual threshold, but you will likely get altogether new messages of support for that moment in time. They are particularly relevant during Taurus, Leo, and Aquarius time to refer back to. Those are the midpoints between winter, spring, summer, and fall, when we clear and release, as well as ground and solidify things. So, like I said, the guidance will be deeper every time you refer to it throughout the year. So if you get the guidance at Scorpio time, the next check-in is February at Aquarius time. You can refer to it then. That's 3 months later. It's always juicy. You go 6 months and it's Taurus time, which is really related to Scorpio. So then even if you didn't check in at the Aquarius time, you check in at the Taurus time, and it'll still give you a new message that'll be really good for you and really on time. And if you go the whole 9 months and check in again at Leo time, it often has a lot to say. And 1 year later, oh my God. I love when I do them every single year because I can totally track my evolution. It is the reason I created them. So I know I'm special. I like to do all 4 of them, but you can pick the ones that you resonate with, or you can have fun like I do and ask at every turn, because they do get really interesting and they start to take on a little theme of their own at those times of year. that's what I'm always trying to teach you, is how to tune into the times of year that work for you, that support you, that help you do your best, to feel your best, to express your best, and to cherish those times when it's downtime and you're kind of pulling back away from the world and doing things behind closed doors and not really communing with others so much. That's a sacred time too. So that's what tuning into the all 8 sacred seasons allows us to do. We learn how to go with the flow of nature while tuning into our own nature and hopefully co-creating better. So here we have another sacred feminine moving into a new zone. Pallas is entering Sagittarius on November 8th, Friday, the day we get together for the Scorpio Gate call. So there are links in the blog and everything to register for that call, certainly, and a link to the flyer, the Scorpio Gate Readings flyer. Pallas entering Sag, I just need to sort of back up to go forward here. Pallas spent 10 months in Libra, November 2018, so 1 year ago, through August 2019. Then it spends September, October in Scorpio, and today moves into Sag. That is November 8th, spending November, December in Sagittarius, before it goes into Capricorn Aquarius, where it will retrograde next time, which means it'll linger in the Capricorn Aquarius departments. But check it out. This feels so relevant to me because Pallas has been in the zone since Venus's retrograde at the end of 2018. So we went into the new Venus cycle with Pallas insisting we get all the wisdom out of our relationships. So what have you learned from those you've been in relationship or partnership with over recent years? What have they learned from you? What have you learned from them? So what I wanted to add here is Pallas extended her stay last year when Venus went into her new cycle, and now Juno is extending her stay as Venus comes out of her cycle. And so I just think that we were gaining wisdom in relationships and learning to be a little more strategic, thinking ahead, thinking things through, feeling things through, letting the heart be the filter. All of that wisdom that we've gained about relationships, partnerships, and collaborations ought to feed the root of what is going to get upgraded now over the next 10 months while Juno is there, asking us to actually make these kinds of commitments to other relationships. Whether it's personal or professional, we're going to be working with other people a lot more than we have been in recent years on some level or another. So the sacred feminine that the asteroids represent are really important to listen to and feel for, to know where they are so that you can get that extra juju where you need it. And I just thought that was interesting. So let's keep it moving. As she navigates Sag, preparing to linger in Capricorn Aquarius, I suggest you reflect on all your relationships that you've attracted thus far and consider what you would like to experience going forward. Then really get clear on 2 things, your freedom and responsibility. The truth is, as she navigates Scorpio Sag, we get to connect to deeper possibilities for healing our deepest relationship issues. Restore balance within that helps you to honor your own intuitive knowing and prepare for her to linger in that Capricorn Aquarius zone of your chart next, where you may discover some deeper purpose to your life that you had yet to consider. Also on the 8th, Sun is going to sextile Saturn. So Sun in Scorpio to Saturn in Capricorn. This energy is good for getting serious and organized because the Sun also brings some much-needed clarity. With Saturn involved, practical actions based on responsible assessments will be rewarded, whereas blowing things off or leaving loose ends will cost you, usually fairly immediately, the instant karma way. Even if this should happen to you, it is not personal, but Saturn's way of showing you immediately where your current limitations are. That's good information to have when making choices and decisions. This activation gives you access to self-discipline and the ability to consider all your options before deciding on anything. This is a good time to focus on your professional goals if possible and start making a solid, feasible plan for the future. If you need to, seek the advice of a trusted, wise elder, anyone with more knowledge and experience than you. And if you can't do something in the direction of your goals today, Take the time to meditate and connect to your plan mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Also on the 8th, Sun is going to trine Neptune in Pisces, so that's Scorpio to Pisces. This energy triggers your idealistic, altruistic inclinations, but remember that help has to be invited. But if you have the energy to share and to spare, then dedicate yourself to something greater than you. Choose a cause to support or help those less fortunate for the sheer pleasure of giving. If your energy is low at this time, it is better directed inward. If you can, take some extra time for intentional solitude, praying, meditating, and connecting to Spirit this week. You will be rewarded with deep revelations and mystical discoveries within you. It's a great time to do divinations, ritual, or ceremony if you're into that. Your intuition is heightened also, so pay attention to any messages that come through or to you. Try to use this energy to reflect on where you are and dream a little about where you want to be, mentally, spiritually, and physically in 6 months to a year from now. So this bodes great for our call. We're going to have so much fun. And I know that those of you who cannot join us live will be with us in spirit, because that's what the thinner veils is so good for. Also on the 8th, Saturn to Neptune. Now this is a biggie. Saturn sextiling Neptune, that's Capricorn to Pisces. This is an opportunity to gain some traction in some real way, and it is a social and collective planet coming together, which happens over a much longer stretch of time. However, it is still relevant for us as individuals and is a supportive energy that helps us make our dreams a reality. The last time these two danced together was in 2015-16 in a Sag-Pisces square. That was a push to grow in our belief system and our spirituality, a push to learn and expand as an individual and still honor the whole. And it was fire and water working together, facilitating a purification of sorts. Those years got really real in a lot of ways for a lot of people. Reality versus illusion, and a growth moment where things inevitably changed. How's it been going for you ever since 2015-16? Now that they are together activating a major opportunity and working via earth and water to create something real and meaningful for you personally. Saturn in Capricorn is restructuring our lives on many levels and revealing what we are and are not responsible for at this time. While Neptune in Pisces is reuniting us with our primordial oceanic womb-like mother, out of which all life springs and eternally bonds us together, Saturn reminds us of our individual physical, literal limitations in real time. So this is funny. This is the Lord of Time getting together with the God spirit planet, which you probably heard me say, there is no time in God. Like, that time is a human construct that we have made up to make sure we get to the same place at the same time, but otherwise it's a different concept when you stretch and think outside the box with that one. If one life or species suffers, they all suffer. Anyway, this week's activation is really good for deepening your dedication to a spiritual practice that fills you with inspiration, clarity, and inner peace, so that you can navigate whatever life throws your way. This is the best time to work on your biggest dream, because Saturn helps you create a step-by-step process of manifestation and keeps you present to the work that has to be done for you to embody this new vision completely. This is an excellent time to develop your relationship to your council of elders, ancestors, and guides, and remember your magical roots. A reminder that all you need, desire, and deserve is sourced within you, and it's your job to unlock it all this lifetime and see how it all works and what it really means for your individual purpose for being here, a spirit in human form. So something else that those two getting together brings up for us over and over, the spirit in human form. So relevant reflections, I go into more detail of the larger cycle of Saturn and Neptune here during their last interaction in 2016. It too will illuminate more clues as to what you are doing and where you can gain some traction in your manifesting realms. So there's a link on my blog back to a September 2016 post. Then on the 9th, which is Saturday, we have Mercury sextiling Pluto for the second of 3 times over because it's retrograde. This energy provokes the need to delve deeper into the ideas or information being presented at this time, whether personal or professional. You will want to dig deeper, ask the hard questions, and gather insights that are deeper and more profound than usual. In your professional public life, you may find yourself doing better due diligence, and in your personal private life, you may find yourself digging a little deeper into your own mental patterns and personal history, all that has led to now. As you make these connections and begin to grasp these new insights, they will gain traction and you will become more grounded in your own truth. We all get excited about those kind of aha moments, and you may find yourself wanting to share them with others who may or may not be ready to hear such deep truths or have the conscious awareness to even process them. So use some discernment around who and when you share these newfound insights. So very powerful combo that gets together 3 times over. So you can already tell we're gaining some traction in transforming our ideas, thoughts, and concepts, how we perceive things, how we process the life around us and the information coming into our system. And remember what I always say about Mercury retrograde, it's a great time to do a data dump and just release a lot of non-essential information. We are not computers. Humans are not supposed to do a lot of things that computers are supposed to do. So I think it's a beautiful practice to look at the calendar year ahead of time. If you need a calendar, I actually create a 2-year calendar. Please reach out. I have one that will tell you where the moon is and all these different things, like full moons, new moons, and retrograde planets, to just keep you on track with where things are. And you can look ahead and see that the Mercury retrograde for 2020 is going to happen in February, March, in Pisces, Aquarius, and then again it's going to happen June, July, all in Cancer, and then it's going to happen again 2020 at the end of the year, October, November, in Scorpio, Libra. So at this moment it's retrograding all in Scorpio. Next year it's going to do a little bit of everything here. So preparing yourself for those time of year, February, March, June, July, and October, November, I'm planning it. I'm planning timeouts. I have to put them on the calendar or they just do not happen. So I'm encouraging everyone to put your downtime actually on your calendar, and here's why. Because what happens to all of us, if we have downtime and when we have downtime, and sometimes we know we're going to get some and sometimes we don't. It's spontaneous. But if you don't actually plan for that downtime, you usually don't get anything done. You just kind of veg out. And that's okay. Some days you're supposed to just veg out. But imagine for my creatives who want to get some things done and are looking for that kind of motivation, I say plan your time out. Plan your creative time. Plan your downtime. Plan your processing time. That's what a Mercury retrograde would ask you to do, to plan to process. Don't just say, okay, I'll do it when I feel ready, when it feels good, when it's convenient, because of course you know that never comes around. So that leads us to the heads up about a couple of upcoming events next week. 11/11 is a very powerful portal, and we are celebrating 10 years of annual 11/11 teleconferences as a community. We will all join in ceremony as we walk through the 11/11 portal, assisted by the Archangels of Light. Whenever we see the 11/11 represented, it is a potent time, and it is very auspicious to walk through this gateway together, magnified by the energy of our group consciousness. Miracles are the natural order of life when we work together. This is also when we gather for the full moon, and we love having the opportunity to expand our circle for these kinds of special occasions. So I hope you will join us for this very special night. This is basically, Shanta hosts the Compassionate Wisdom Circle, so there's links to that on my site all the time because I do drop in and offer the energetic piece. And when we find our opportunities like this to do a portal, we love to open it up. So I hope you will consider joining us there. And I also have a Venus Circle coming up with my teacher, Pixie Lighthorse, who many of you know I went through all 4 levels of Earth Medicine School with Pixie. She has quite a few amazing books. She's got 5 books. She just published the 5th one recently, Gold Mining the Shadows. They're all amazing, really useful for healing of all types, your personal work on all levels, for sure. So I hope you will gather with us for the Venus Circle. Will be November 14th, and that will be Capricorn throat chakra reclamation. So I thought she would just be a stellar guide to help us tune into being responsible for our authentic voice and being a voice for something important and making that choice on how to do that. So thank you again for your time and attention, and I hope you will reach out for a reading if you feel you want to dive in a little deeper during this pullback time and the time where we check in with the ancestors and angels and animal spirit guides to make sense of it all, hopefully. And certainly reach out if you need some mentoring. I've had a lot of you reach out lately for that, and that's been really beautiful, and it is one of my favorite ways to serve. So thanks again for your time and energy and support. I look forward to connecting with you in person and live on our telecircles. So thanks for listening, and have a great week. Reach out if you need to. Take care.
This is Kelly Beard of KarmicTools.com, and I am so grateful for your time, energy, and support. Please share this with those you think would resonate, and reach out if and when you need to. Kelly at KarmicTools.com. The goal of my weekly forecast is to alert you to the energies and activations that we're all experiencing and the possibilities for conscious co-creation as an individual. Awareness of the energies is the first key, but I invite you to take it to the next level by checking out my readings, telecircles, and subscriptions, which are all geared toward individual support that helps you understand your own unique blueprint. My specialty is cycles and patterns, and I love helping people figure out their own within the context of the social and collective rhythm. To some, working with their own cycles and patterns is a completely new and foreign concept, but there are many planetary cycles that coincide with natural life cycles that allow us to co-create in mystical as well as practical ways. I create custom tools that I have tried and tested myself for over 30 years, and I do the work alongside my circle every time. So I hope you will reach out if you feel called to dive deeper into your own soul's natural rhythm. Talk to you soon. One love.